an empathy born of living in and depending upon a fragile island marine ecosystem. We know that we are living on a living organism. We have to see that this organism is healthy. It's coral, polyps. These tiny animals give us sustainability in our country. And we have always, throughout our history, we have been very careful in dealing with our islands. The intrinsic understanding that we must not take out more than we put in, that we must not damage today what we will rely upon tomorrow, is evident in both of our main economic sectors, namely fisheries and tourism. Our fisheries sector, the historical mainstay of our economy and society, continues to practice traditional rod, pole and line fishing, meaning each fish is caught individually rather than in huge, indiscriminate nets. This practice avoids incidental damage to marine ecosystems and also ensures that fish population remains healthy. We don't scoop up the entire school of fish by person nets. Likewise, our tourism sector has traditionally focused on high-end, high-return, low-density, and low-impact products. Resorts are also expected to be self-reliant across energy, water, and waste disposal, and many have already made the switch to renewable energies. One of the tourist resorts in the Maldives, for example, plans to go carbon neutral next year and zero carbon the year after. Ethics and fairness are a lot to ask for of the political process, especially for those of us who make the decisions today are only affected by them for the next 2 decades. However, it is our obligation and our duty as guardians of our grandchildren and their children's future to ensure we adopt sustainable practices so that we may preserve for a future they deserve before climate change tips us beyond the point of no return. The Maldivian government recognized that all of this will not be easy. Both we and wider international community face huge challenges in making our dream a reality. However, in the Maldives, we also see a wonderful opportunity. An opportunity for our generation to seize the moment and to pioneer a new sustainable world economy which simultaneously drives wealth creation, reduces global inequality, and protects a natural environment upon which we all ultimately depend. In this, we should be guided by the words of Thomas Paine, who said, if we had a place to stand, we might raise the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let us stand together and let us raise the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's rather humbling to have a country that had nothing to do with creating the problem in the first place, now setting a model for the rich countries to try to emulate, and I hope we can do that. One of the implications in what you say, though, it seems to be that if we get it right, we can have sustainable development and go back to economic growth. And I hope we can talk about this a little later when the others have had their say, because I happen to think that's dead wrong. And but let the experts have their say. Yeah. So if we could go to Eckhard Deutscher, the chair of the OECD Development Assistance Committee, with a few remarks.
Yeah, thank you, David. When you started at the beginning saying that you are shocked by the title, I'm not shocked, but I read it again and again, and I have not understood it. Is this the antithesis? I spoke with Walter Fust this morning, and he said what he is estimating maybe we will have when there are no major changes in the global development system, this system will implode. This means we have to have a look what the political impacts of global systems are, like the global development system. I want to try to come a little bit closer from a political angle, since the DAC in the OECD is a political body. And the last sentence says, can climate change be described as the antithesis of sustainable development policy? Well, I think we have currently five systemic global crisis areas. We have the well-known financial and economic crisis. We have the environmental crisis, and these are all systemic crises, not ad hoc crises, but on a global level, the climate change crisis and environmental crisis. We have the poverty crisis still. Since 50 years, we are trying to tackle poverty, and we have to be honest, with not major success. And this also has to do what is partly excluded, what means this for social equality. Social equality for the people between the rich countries and the poor countries, but also in these countries, the rich countries and the poor countries. I think this says a lot. Social inequality, how people are perceiving to understand problems like climate change, problems like poverty, etc. And then the two other major systemic crises is the energy crisis and the food and nutrition crisis. And the problem is how governments can react and should react. And my thesis is we have a bad global governance. Bad global governance means the 190 or more governments have a high knowledge about the problems, but they are acting, when they are acting, very, very slow. And there are still a lot of problems always when I'm coming to the UN, and the problem is what are the instruments of the rich countries, the Bretton Woods Institution, the International Monetary Fund, or the World Bank, or what are the interests of the rich countries represented in the OECD and in the development world, also in the DAC. And what I'm noting is always a deep mistrust between developing the poor countries to the rich countries. We have to think about that, because we are not living any longer in a world which we cannot divide in north, south, east, west. We have to tackle problems on one earth, on one planet, and this means we are all in the same boat, and this means we have to change our political paradigms. I think we cannot continue in a mode business as usual, and this is exactly one point in the financing for development. What the OECD countries are investing right now in developing are 120 billion. This is a lot of money. There's a lot of money. But the G8 especially have promised much more. And we are since years lagging behind what was promised and what is delivered. I think here also we have a problem of political credibility. And when you are, and my third point is we have to do a lot of homeworks, we ourselves. We are not doing good in development. We are fragmented, highly fragmented. We have the multilateral institutions, we have the bilateral institutions or agencies, 280 by the way, and they are running 25 development banks around the globe. There are around 40 units in the United Nations dealing with development, and everybody has his narrowed silo view and very few horizontal cooperation. I think we need to tackle it. We need to eliminate this fragmentation, and these are not good investment. And this has another political implication on financing and how we are doing our job. This has implications for the parliaments. The parliaments are providing money, and this has implications for the public. And you can imagine to give money to development purposes. This is not very attractive, politically attractive in the population in the rich countries, even more now in the financial economic crisis.